and I am a graduate from the University of North Texas, where I am going green.
Can I hear the mean green in the room? Oh, you could do better.
So I obviously have a lot of school spirit. I'm wearing my mean green belt today. And I'm also so fortunate that I have graduated debt-free from the University of North Texas.
Wow.
And I'm very thrilled to be in this position, and I know that I'm lucky, especially when I look back to the background that I come from. That background, it's grounded in simply put, poverty. I come from a background in southwest side of Fort Worth, where there is a lot of drug abuse and drug use and gang affiliations still within our schools, and it was a dangerous environment in a lot of ways, and not just in school and not just with my peers, but also with my own family. As much as I am thrilled to be in the position I'm in now, due to that background, I am no longer in contact with any of my family. They were both drug addicted, and my father, he was a drug dealer. They were both in and out of jail, and it left me in a position where I was trying to aim for my success and my goals and my dreams, and find a way out of poverty, but also working 60 hours a week at a sports bar and paying rent and making sure my 3 younger brothers were fed each day. And that left a lot of strain on me and a lot of hopelessness in a lot of ways. And I was very fortunate to find great programs at my high school, at Southwest High School, with great teachers. I was a theater kid. I'm sure that might be seen in my mannerisms here.
Well, we just thought you were very shy, Jacob. Now you've overcome that.
Yeah, me on stage, certainly not used to it. But theater was a great outlet for me, and I found a great mentor there as well, until unfortunately he was arrested for his own problems. And then I was scooped up by my journalism teacher. And of course, here comes our connection here. I ended up in our broadcast journalism program, which was phenomenal. It was a lot of fun. I got to, in my second week of broadcasting, I was interviewing the superintendent of our school district. And then on my broadcast team, my 2 closest friends and I, who decided to attend UNT with me, we all spoke very highly of Cynthia here at WFAA. And she was kind of our hallmark, a UNT alumna who became this big broadcast reporter and anchor. So it was kind of the goal to reach. But in order to get there, there was a lot of adversity to tackle first. And at home, obviously we would love to say we could go home to peace and to love and adoration. But I had been stabbed by my father with a piece of glass. My mother had hit me multiple times, and between the abuse of physical, mental, and verbal abuse, there was no hope at home. And as much as I wanted to say that I was a great role model for my brothers, I was constantly out of the apartment, focusing on being as well off academically as I could in circumstances, and finding extracurriculars that would look good on scholarship applications, and working. And it was heartbreaking when I would come home and my younger brother Blake, he would come up to me, must have been 6 at the time, and would say, "Jacob, I'm hungry," with tears in his eyes. And what could I do as a high schooler when I was so set on trying to find my way just to get to college? And between that and suicidal thoughts, I thought that there was no escape from where I was at the time. So I had 2 options: join the military or get a full ride to college. And military wouldn't take me, unfortunately, because of a head injury I had. I was hit by a car when I was 9 years old with brain damage. They had to have brain surgery. So the next shot was that full run.
How did it come to be that you got that full ride? Talk to us about how ScholarShot got into the picture.
Yes, so I did not find ScholarShot in a very traditional way. I was very fortunate to be connected to ScholarShot through another scholarship organization, the Dream Big Determined Scholars Award in Fort Worth. That connection was life-changing to me, because financial contributions are one thing, and I'm obviously very fortunate, But I didn't have any adults in my life I felt I could connect to and I could look to for answers.
Trust.
And trust, yes, exactly. So to find an academic manager, and it was Carlos Valdez, Mr. V for me, he was such a great resource for me.
How old were you? What year were you in when all of this happened?
Referring to the background?
When you
or
met
with
Carlos,
ScholarShot?
your academic manager.
Right after my junior year. So it was the summer after my junior year, so I was about 17 years old.
And tell us how he helped you.
So going in, it was my first meeting with him. I had to find an Uber to get there to be no transportation. And I made my way to that one lunch with Carlos, not thinking much of it, you know? But when he spoke to me, being able to ask these questions to an adult who I had never been able to speak to before and never been able to ask these questions to before, gave me hope that there is a shot for me, that there was a chance for me to advance past my circumstances, and that maybe college wasn't impossible. And he gave me that hope.
What were some of the things that he had to teach you?
The biggest one that I think had to be taught to me was the emotional and mental wellness. Accountability and financial understandings were things that I'd learned fairly uniquely, but being able to speak to somebody about the things that were afflicting me at the time and how I was able to get past those. Unfortunately, my degree, it became a point of spite. You know, I was earning it only to get past my circumstances. I wasn't earning it to find a passion. I wasn't earning it to achieve a dream. The dream was peace. The dream was freedom. And he taught me that there's more to it than that. It wasn't just the limitations of financial freedom. You know, he gave me the opportunity to feel pride in pursuing this degree.
So how did you ultimately find your career path to where you are now?
So that's a great question. My journalism teacher, Ms. Darcy, she was incredible, and she gave me so many opportunities to pursue the journalism field. We got to go, my first time going out of the state was for a competition for journalism, a broadcast news competition, where we went to Louisville, Kentucky, and we got first place and second place at nationals those 2 different years. And I thought, you know, I've been so grounded with theater and journalism, and storytelling was the big idea, that, you know, finding my way into storytelling professionally would be a great honor. And then it only seemed natural after having such an impactful teacher in my life that I would want to get my secondary teaching certificate so that I'd have an opportunity to also help students like me who were just as lost and just as scared, really. But I think it is worth asking you as well, because I know there's a lot of parallels to our story. You have found yourself into the field that I initially looked at, into that broadcasting. So I want to know how you led yourself to becoming a news anchor.
He's turning the tables, y'all. He's smart. Well, you know, one of the reasons that I agreed to be here today was because I see a lot of me in you, in your story. I see a lot of me in your story, Guadalupe. I too was a first generation student. I too struggled watching my single mom work 3 jobs by herself. And when I was going to graduate Thomas Jefferson High School in Dallas, she said, "Cynthia, you'll have all the moral support, but you've got no financial support, obviously." So, like y'all, I worked hard. I got scholarships. The University of North Texas was the only one who gave me a full academic scholarship. But I had to work my butt off while at UNT working 2 jobs. So all of that, as hard as it is, I always say, it builds character. And Guadalupe, let me take this opportunity to tell you, or to tell you thank you, really, for inspiring all of us not to give up, and to have the courage to follow through and to never give up. But along the way, Jacob, the answer to your question, why did I become a news anchor, is because I didn't really feel like I had a voice a lot of my childhood growing up. And I knew, because of my curiosity and because of my passion, that I wanted to help give others a voice, particularly the most voiceless in our communities, which I believe are foster children and the orphaned. So that's why I got into this job. But by the grace of God, I've been able to use it as a platform to help orphaned children, A, and B, to also help students like yourself to mentor them, and to give a piece of myself to them in hopes that they'll take that piece and use it to their advantage and hopefully pay it forward in the future for our community. Because when we help each other, we help our community and we help future generations. So, long answer to your very easy question. I got into journalism because I wanted to be a voice for the voiceless.
Absolutely. That's incredible. Yeah.
I'd like to ask you now where you think you would be without ScholarShot.
Gosh, what a dangerous question that is. I was very fortunate, as I've already mentioned, UNT was already kind of a dead set. Their journalism program and the affordability were a great combination for me. So I was already very set on UNT before meeting with ScholarShot, assuming I could find the financial aid for it. But I think the number one concern that I would have without ScholarShot is my emotional well-being. Again, so much of this degree was rooted in just overcoming the challenge and proving those around me wrong, that I wouldn't be able to make it. So many in my area that I grew up in were hopeless. They felt this opportunity wasn't possible for them. So for me, being able to find that is a great honor. And without ScholarShot, I fear that I would have found myself much more emotionally immature, without a chance to recognize the great honor that comes with these degrees, and without a chance to recognize the power of education and how everybody here is in this room because they believe in the power of education in different degrees here. So that power, being able to find that in such a well-rooted community, I don't know how that would have affected me without them.
ScholarShot graduates, will you raise your hands, please? There they are, Jacob. Your words of wisdom for these very bright students. I want you to look at them and give them your words of wisdom.
Before words of wisdom, I have to say, in case you haven't heard it today, I'm proud of each of you. You have all earned this, and you deserve to be here. So congratulations to each of you. Words of wisdom. Being a fairly recent graduate myself, giving wisdom, I feel honored, but I also feel aged up already. Allow me not to get teary-eyed on this. I have to say that you all in here are leaders, as it is. So now that you have earned these degrees and you have put in this work, the job's not done. You crossed a finish line, but not the finish line. So now that you all in here are obviously seen as leaders, whether in your families, in your communities, at your schools, find ways to be servant leaders. Find a way to use the power of education that you have to serve those around you and serve others. At UNT, you'd be familiar with, there's a quote on the back, Epictetus. It says, "Only the educated are free." So find ways to use that education, find ways to use that freedom, find ways to use the skills you've gathered here at ScholarShot to help others.
As we wrap up, Jacob, I want you to talk to our donors now. Why should they donate today?
You have heard a couple of stories here. You've heard a little bit from me. You've heard some tremendous words from Guadalupe. These are only two stories and a massive sea of great, determined students here. Clearly, finances are one thing, and that financial contribution helps ScholarShot give us hope, give us futures, and help us find our dreams. And obviously, there is the financial aspect that we are all very fortunate for, and thank you to each of the supporters who have already proven to support ScholarShot through these journeys, but also helping ScholarShot as they give us advice, as they give us lessons on financial stability and financial freedom, and ways to grow as people, not just as students. You are contributing to the next generation of leaders, of servants, and of lifelong scholars. So thank you for just being here today.
Are you at peace, Jacob?
I have found a tremendous amount of peace now, and when I walk the hallways of Decatur High School, my principal even left me a note thanking me for it. anytime people ask me how I'm doing, I say I'm living the dream, because I am living the dream now, and it's because of ScholarShot.
Amen to that. Jacob Wells, everyone.